We're going to begin tonight with board and superintendent comments as we continue to mourn the passing of our dear colleague, Trustee Daphne Brookins. Words cannot express or describe our shock and our sadness when the unexpected news came to each of us on Friday. In fact, I think some of us are still processing this loss today. Trustee Daphne Brookins was a champion for every child, every day, all of the time. Her work on their behalf began long before she joined this Board of Trustees as a representative for District 4. And let's all remember the big shoes of Dr. T.A. Sims that she filled without missing a beat. As I shared last week, Trustee Brookins was a much valued colleague, and she was a dear friend. The sheer beauty of her smile lit up any meeting, any room, any gathering. Our thoughts tonight are with her family and will continue to be in the days and weeks ahead. I'd like to invite my fellow trustees to briefly share any thoughts they may wish to add as we look at the many photos we've gathered over the last few days of Trustee Brookins serving children and doing what she loved. Trustee Evans?
Thank you so much. I don't have any words, but it was such an honor to serve with her and serve students, and her loss will be felt for a long time.
Trustee Dar?
Daphne was a true servant leader. She led through her actions, through her words, through the way she chose to live her life, and in all of the ways that she impacted so many people. Mine and Daphne's lived experience was very different, and yet we appreciated each other for who we were and what we brought to the table, and I am grateful that I had the opportunity to learn from Daphne. I will miss her as a colleague, but I will most especially miss her as a friend.
Trustee Martinez?
Daphne and I served together well before Fort Worth ISD. We served together in Community Action Partners, and that's where I first saw and learned her passion for serving youth, serving families in Tarrant County. I'm glad you mentioned her smile, because I just remember how she would light up the room, and sometimes her comments would just make us all laugh. She had a great passion for serving youth. I remember the many years that she worked with Rising Stars Leadership Academy, and just how she loved to talk about that program. And I just remember us talking about our legacies and what we wanted to, how we wanted to be remembered, and what we wanted to leave behind. And I just remember specifically her talking about wanting to empower youth and serve youth and help families. And that's how I always remember her. I know that's how many of us will remember her. She will be dearly missed, and there will be a huge void in our community. But I just want to say it's been a privilege to serve with her the short time I have served on Fort Worth ISD, on the Fort Worth ISD board, but we go way back. So she will be deeply missed.
Trustee Quentin Phillips?
Yeah, so much like Roxanne said, she definitely will be missed. Hearing this news and seeing our friend and colleague gone, it's been tough to even truly register the realness, the fact that it really has occurred, and what Daphne's life has now been able to teach me as I've been reflecting over her passing is that how very much I take for granted, how very much I take you all in this room for granted, that I'm just going to see you again, and I'm just going to talk to you again, and we're just going to be together again, and things will be business as usual. But I mean, we just truly never know how long we have. And so, I mean, while sending my love to Daphne, sending my love to her family, just really makes me realize how much I have to cherish these moments that even we have together, because we don't know. You know what I mean? We never really know. And so, you know, with all of the other things going on, with bickering and strife, and I mean, none of that really amounts to anything. It's the human lives that we get to be in contact with. It's an honor that I got to share space with Daphne Brookins, that I got to be a part of her life in some way. And the lasting legacy that I know she will leave with me, to not take for granted these relationships and opportunities, and to actually cherish them, because we don't know when it'll be our last. So much love to Daphne's family.
Trustee Ana Luevanos.
Daphne was a colleague on the board. She was also a friend. I will miss our weekly phone calls to talk about education, the programs that we were thinking about, and to talk about life. Besides a colleague on the board, she was a good friend that will be deeply missed.
Trustee Dr. Michael Ryan.
I've only known Daphne for 6 months. First full school board meeting we had 96 speakers. And when it was concluded, I was sitting there talking to her, so I don't know what I got myself into. And she said, just remember that everybody here that's talking cares about your kids, and all we've got to do is do what's best for kids.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Dr. Scribner.
Thank you, President Jackson. As her colleagues on the board are all expressing, we're deeply saddened by her loss when we found out on Friday morning. She was an individual always focused on students, always focused on their families, focused on making sure they had the resources that they needed, both inside of the school building but also in the school community. Her focus really was about creating stability for the families that she served, many of whom lived in challenging circumstances. As a person, she is even-handed, steady, authentic, a real human being, and recently lost her husband as well. So let's please not only keep the families and students and faculty of District 4 and all the district, but certainly her sons, keep them in our prayers as well.
Thank you, Dr. Scribner. And I just want to add that Daphne was working on, before she was hospitalized, on some STEM academy work for each school. She was working on bringing in partnerships, so we hope to continue that legacy. Dr. Scribner, would you like to speak of Mr. Mattic?
Yeah, we've had another loss as well, with great sadness, that we also learned 2 weekends ago of the passing of David K. Sellers Elementary School Principal Stephen Mattic. Although Mr. Mattic has successfully battled health problems over the past few years, this was completely unexpected and has hit the Fort Worth ISD family and the David K. Sellers family hard. Please keep all of them and Mr. Mattic's direct family in your thoughts and prayers as well.
Mr. Stephen Mattic was a trailblazer with a dynamic, outgoing personality. Everybody loved Mr. Mattic. He made an impression on my heart very early in our careers. Mr. Mattic was a phenomenal third grade teacher at Mitchell Boulevard Elementary School, where I also taught. We thought we could change the world, and we did, one child at a time. He and I would later reconnect when in his role as principal of David K. Sellers, where I served as executive director for 2 years, witnessing his zest for teaching and learning. He was so proud of his school and was committed to his calling. There's no doubt that he saw his role as principal as a ministry. Not only was he an inspirational leader, he was a devoted friend and a well-known jokester. Yes, I will forever remember memories of fun times we shared at principal's meeting, where we would tell jokes via our cell phones, made silly faces, critique wardrobe choices, and question hairstyles. More him about me. And his laugh was so contagious. The lives of those he met will forever be changed, and there will never, ever be another leader like Mr. Stephen Mattic. We will miss you.
Stephen M. Mattic, an extraordinary educational leader who exemplified educating students in the spirit of excellence. He took great care of everyone around him. He was the epitome of servant leadership and went above and beyond to make sure the educational experiences of all students in his charge were rigorous, engaging, and fun. He had a gift of making everyone he met feel special. He encouraged us to live life to the fullest and modeled that mantra daily. Our lives are better because Stephen Mattic was a part of it, and he will live in our hearts forever. We love you, Steve. In the words of our beloved Mattic, teach the children, and good evening, good night.